Well, welcome back, YouTubers, and I finally did it. I cracked that 5-second egg, and Mr. Sparkle's back here. And I know for a lot of you guys, that's not a big deal, but for me, this is my own personal goal that I wanted to get for this truck right here. There were some trials and tribulations that I had to go through to get there. I have another video that explains all the mods that I've done to this truck, from gas, nitrous, stalls, every change I've done to this guy with the 400 in it as it sits. So you might want to check that one out before you ask, what's your cam, or what's your heads, or what's your motor compression, all that. I have all that information in that video, so it's linked down in the description. Go down there if you want to know all that information. If you ask in the comments, I will not tell you. I'll just send you the link, because that video can do a lot better job than me going into the comments telling what's going on. So let's talk about how I got this guy in the fives. E85, when it starts to get cold and you're pulling timing, can get a little tricky, because you don't want to blow your carburetor, through your hood on nitrous, especially trying to go to the track. You don't want to have one of those days where it kind of all goes up in flames. So that's what we're talking about today. Holy crap, it is cold, guys. Hi. I need something blowing on my dick. But anyways, so let's talk about some of the issues that I have with E85 and it being cold out. It was around 50 that day. People weren't making it down the track. So first I had to loosen up the shocks. So I'll go over the time real quick. The time was, I cut a 134 60 foot, went to the 8th at 5.9. 59.44 and 115.52 miles per hour. I think it would have went faster if I wasn't like, first of all, I didn't line up right, and I was kind of went this way and that way. But I can tell you, this truck, kind of a death trap driving it down the track. So over the winter, I really got to do some safety modifications. The first issue that I had, let me tell you guys about this. I almost gave up. I almost gave up because it was chilly, went out there, and this is my first time dealing with ethanol when the weather was down low. Usually I'm used to it being like, the 85, 90, 100 degrees when I'm driving single around, and you take timing out, it's fine. So I went to the track and I was like taking my timing out because my box is gone, and it's probably good that my box is gone. So what was happening is, when you take a lot of timing out on ethanol and it's cold, I have a big plenum, so when you first hit it, the initial hit, and you almost can't see it on the wideband. You really almost can't see it. When I was hitting it, like if it goes so fast to a lean, like it goes boom, and then it would go super rich. I was like, and it took me a while to actually see that, but when I saw it, I was like, crap, so it's going stupid lean for a second and popping through the carburetor. And that's usually how nitrous backfires happen. Is when it goes lean, you're spraying nitrous, you're spraying fuel, and usually when you spray nitrous, it'll go lean for a second, pretty quickly on a carburetor, because you got a big plenum to bring all the fuel in, and the nitrous is gonna hit first. So there's different ways, I don't really have that in mind, to make sure that the fuel hits first, then the nitrous. So the only way I could fix this issue was first letting it get warm. It still wasn't perfect. I had to change the power valve. I had to up the jets a little bit. Had to open the idle screw some. Now, if I just had one of those retard boxes, if I went to the line and just stabbed at it, there's a good chance that I could have had a big nitrous backfire, and I had all types of issues. So the fact that I was manually pulling timing and going up to the line with only 26 degrees in the motor, that it probably saved me from having a bad nitrous backfire. So that's one thing with nitrous, man. You really gotta know how your tune is, not only when it's fully advanced, but also when it's retarded. You got to make sure that the motor is not going to labor, that it can at least get going before the nitrous hits and you make a run. This is kind of the redneck data log that I like to do. I just put a camera, this is the GoPro, that's the data logger, and I can watch the RPM and I can watch, you know, the wideband work throughout the gears. So we'll kind of slow it down, kind of go through the entire run right here. So if you notice, right off the hit, I was, you can still see it. It went to like a quick lean hit to 14.1, but then it went very rich down to 10.8. That's because all that fuel and the nitrous is going into the plenum, and it has to get in the plenum down to your cylinders and the plugs, fire, and all that good stuff. So off the hit, it was still lean, but it didn't pop, luckily. And you saw it, then it went down in first gear. It went from a 14.1 to a 10.8, 10.7. Then, as that initial accelerator pump shot started to clear up, right when I shifted into second gear, it went from 11.1 to 11.3 and to 11.1 again. And that was probably like when you hit initial shift, the power valve would open up, and then when that vacuum stops, it'll kind of close a little bit, and that power valve would open back up. Then when I got into third gear, you'll notice that it all cleared out. It was right where it needed to be, which is at 11.3 to 11.5, all the way in to the end of the quarter. I think it had a high spot around 11.7, which is all perfectly safe for the motor. No backfires. I think we're good in that point. Like I said before, I ran a 94 at 115 miles an hour. The 60 foot was a 134. Now the 60 foot wasn't as good as in the past because no one was getting down the track because it was cold. The guy beside me actually like spun out. So what I did, I loosened up my shocks in the front so it would come up a little faster, and I had the same delay, a 0.5 delay in the nitrous, so I didn't hit it right over the head right away. And usually when you put a delay in there, you'll get a little more of a lean spike, unless you just smack it over the head right away and all the fuel and nitrous comes out at one time. So hopefully, I kind of rambled a lot there, but hopefully that information is good information for you guys. So if you're spraying nitrous, pulling a lot of time and it's cold, or ethanol, or maybe even gas, you got to make sure that it's not going to have a lean hit before all that nitrous and fuel hits the motor. It's got to, and Richard, he actually blew a motor, LS motor, clean the intake clean off because he tried to drive through a lean spike. And usually you can kind of drive through them, but if you don't, the result is catastrophic. Probably not too smart that I'm drinking vodka with tonic water with ice in the freezing cold. So hopefully this video has been helpful. I know I rambled a lot, but hopefully for some of you guys who are new into this and you made it to the end of the video and you really want to, like, you know, see my experience with ethanol and nitrous. It does work, but it's definitely more of a pain in the ass than gas. Until next time, guys, keep on wrenching, and peace.